welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
We are definitely entering probably the highest pressure cooker environment in World Rugby right now.
You mean the Springboks versus France?
Absolutely. That massive clash. And look, this isn't just about two titans meeting on the field. It's become a real battle of, well, psychological strategy.
Okay.
So our mission today is really to, strap in, dive deep into the sources we've got and try to dissect these mind games everyone's talking about, specifically around Rassie ERASMUS.
Yep, exactly. And we've got the articles right here covering everything from, well, literal spying fears.
Which sounds dramatic, but yeah.
To these kind of cryptic social media posts, and then Erasmus's own official defense, too.
Right.
This really does go way beyond just the final scoreline, doesn't it? We're digging into that massive tension, the kind that builds when one coach seems to operate, I guess, in that space between genius strategy and maybe intentional chaos.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's the central question for you, the listener, really. Are we watching a master strategist here? Someone using actual psychological tactics to destabilize France? Or is Erasmus genuinely just focused, like he says he is, on connecting with and, elevating those incredibly passionate South African supporters? We'll lay out the context, the history, hopefully help you make up your own mind.
This deep dive is definitely for you. To get those nuanced insights, you need them to truly understand the history and the tactics shaping what's going to be a massive fixture.
Absolutely.
And hey, if you want this kind of deep analysis continuously, the strategy, the rivalries, all the drama in rugby, make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession, wherever you get your podcasts.
Definitely worth doing.
Okay, so let's start with the immediate spark. The thing that really took this from just a big game to, well, a psychological warfare event almost.
Right.
We're talking France's preparation. It pretty quickly went into, defensive mode.
That's right. Yeah, the tension was, you could feel it. Fabien Galthie, the French coach, he took this really drastic step, highly unusual.
Which was?
Denying the media their standard access to the French training sessions. Now, for a top international side, that's not just routine secrecy about plays. It's a clear signal of, well, paranoia, maybe.
Okay, so they held everything behind closed doors. And the reason wasn't just hiding new tactics.
Well, the sources are pretty clear. The motivation was fear. Fear that South Africa was, and I quote, gleaning information.
Gleaning information. So spying, basically.
Essentially, yeah. They feared spying. Now, look, the idea of some formal espionage unit tracking training might sound a bit over the top.
A little bit, yeah.
But the key takeaway here is the psychological impact. Galthie and his team felt they had to shut down access completely. Why? Because of the history of the opposing coach, Rassie.
Right. It shows that even just the thought, the mere possibility of an Erasmus tactical strike, whatever that might be,
right,
it's enough to force a major tangible change in how the opposition prepares. Yeah. So France's action kind of confirms that the psychological battle is already on, whether Rassie intended it that way or not.
The focus shifts, doesn't it, from just executing your own game plan to suddenly protecting secrets.
And think about the energy that takes up.
That's a great point. That energy spent worrying about potential spies, looking over your shoulder. That's energy not spent perfecting lineouts or defense.
Yeah.
It's an immediate kind of self-inflicted tactical adjustment, forced just by the reputation of one guy.
And that reputation? It's largely built, let's be honest, on his interaction with the most public, sometimes chaotic arena there is, social media.
Exactly right. So just as France is locking the gates, metaphorically speaking, Erasmus hops onto X, formerly Twitter, and he reveals Le Bleu's likely starting side. Now, okay, that lineup had apparently been leaked to the French press anyway. But the timing, it was just perfectly timed. A very cheeky intervention, you could say.
And the caption was classic Rassie, wasn't it? Something like, might have a few wrong, but whoever France pick in the 23, it will be a massive team and clash.
Yep, that was it.
So it's framed like, oh, just an observation. But the timing, it feels suspicious. It lets him look like he's got this insight without actually claiming he won or had inside info.
And naturally, the rugby world press jumped all over it. Classic Rassie mind games. But we do need to look at his official defense. He offers a pretty robust one.
Which is?
He argues this is purely 100% about the supporter base in South Africa.
Okay, so framing himself as a communicator, not a trickster.
Precisely. He said, and this is a key quote, "People see everything we do as mind games, but what I'm trying to do when I put a team out there, That's for communicating with our South African supporters and for them to get a little bit more depth and insight into what our team looked like and how it compares to their team.
Providing depth and insight.
That's the narrative. And it's effective because it gives him perfect, plausible deniability, doesn't it?
It does.
He really stresses that point, too, about the fans.
Yeah.
The South African supporters are really into it and understand it, and the more you give them, the more they understand. He's appealing directly to that intense passion they have for the boots.
Okay, but let me just push back on that defense for a second. If the goal is genuinely just communication, just giving depth to fans who are already super engaged, why not use, I don't know, an official press release?
Yeah.
A formal interview? Why pick X? A platform that's basically designed for maximum public visibility, maximum potential chaos, and maximum visibility to the rival team.
And that right there, that's the core tension, isn't it? Once you have a history like Erasmus does, a history of controversy, every single thing you do after that, no matter how pure you say the intent is, it gets filtered through that lens, the lens of, is this another tactical strike?
He set the precedent himself.
He absolutely did. He established that his social media activity matters. He's using a platform known for short, sharp, provocative stuff. And that environment itself kind of weaponizes his intent, whether he means it to or not.
Which brings us perfectly to that history.
Yeah.
Because we really need to unpack this. The current drama only really makes sense when you see it in the context of his past online stuff. This is definitely not his first rodeo in the digital hot seat.
Oh, far from it. You absolutely have to rewind to 2021. That was, well, it was a seismic event in global rugby governance, remember?
Lions score.
Exactly. After the first British and Irish Lions test, Erasmus released. Not just a tweet, remember?
Really?
An hour-long video critiquing referee Nick Berry's performance in minute, painstaking detail.
I mean, can you even imagine another top national coach, any sport really, doing that? An hour-long video dissecting the ref released publicly.
It was unprecedented, and it set this global precedent for using digital media almost as a weapon against officiating.
And the consequences were serious. It wasn't just a fine. He got a lengthy, very high-profile suspension from all rugby. That was World Rugby making a massive statement about the limits.
You'd think that would be a lesson learned, maybe, but no. He proved he was willing to push those limits again. Fast forward to 2022. He faced more disciplinary action, got banned again. This time for posting similar videos during the November tests, again appearing to criticize officiating decisions.
So, okay, maybe he has, as you say, toned it down a bit recently, moved away from directly hammering the refs in public videos.
Seems that way.
But the underlying behavior, using platforms like X to engage, maybe critique, potentially destabilize, that's still there, isn't it?
It appears so.
We still see him posting these kind of cryptic messages, like after Jan-Hendrik Wessel's got that 8-week ban recently.
Right.
Or even debating selection choices, like why Evan Ruiz wasn't picked directly with supporters online.
Which creates this climate, right, where France simply cannot afford to just ignore his social media. They can't just dismiss it as fan chat. They're almost being, well, gaslit by his history. They have to assume it might be directed at them.
Okay, but here's where it gets really, really interesting. And it ties this whole history directly to the current rival, Galthie. Despite all this paranoia, well, public jousting we see from the French camp, Erasmus and Galthie, they actually know each other really well, intimately, you could say.
Yes. This shared history just adds this incredible layer of complexity. It's fascinating. Erasmus confirmed it himself, said they've known each other for years, but the real bombshell was this quote.
Go on.
He said, ironically, Galthie, came to Munster and shadowed us for the whole week.
When Erasmus was coaching Munster.
Yep.
Where he sat in every single meeting, training, planning, team, and coaching sessions, where we learned from each other. And after that, he became the French head coach.
Wait, hold on. So the guy who is now locking the gates, fearing infiltration, previously had complete, open-door, unfettered access to the entire inner workings of Rassie ERASMUS's mind, his coaching philosophy at Munster.
That's what Rassie says sat in every meeting.
Wow, that's not just context. That feels like a massive potential vulnerability for Erasmus, maybe, or for Galthie. It completely flips the script, doesn't it? Galthie isn't just worried about maybe some current spy hiding in the bushes. He knows the actual DNA of the coaching structure he's facing.
He's seen behind the curtain.
Exactly. He knows the strategic thinking, the philosophical approaches, maybe even the psychological triggers Erasmus might use because he learned them firsthand. So his paranoia about closed training, Maybe it's extremely well-informed paranoia.
That raises a brilliant question then. Is Galthie closing training because he fears Erasmus will spy? Or is he closing it because he knows Rassie's system so well that he fears any tiny observable detail, anything Rassie might see, will give the Springboks a massive strategic edge because Rassie knows how Galthie might be adapting his old system?
Ooh, that's complex. It changes the whole nature of the defense, doesn't it?
It does.
Maybe the deeper strategy here isn't just protecting against some unknown external spying. Maybe it's Galthie protecting against internal known vulnerabilities, weaknesses that Erasmus himself might have inadvertently revealed during that week at Munster.
Like if you know exactly how the engine was built.
You know precisely where to stick the wrench, or you know what the mechanic will look for.
Fascinating stuff. And look, if you enjoy understanding this deeper strategy, these connections in rugby, how past coaching relationships influence today's tactical warfare.
Which is what makes the sport so rich.
Exactly. Then make sure you subscribe to Rugby Obsession wherever you listen. We really love unpacking these hidden strategic layers.
We do.
Okay, so let's try and tie all these threads together. We've got the perception of mind games.
Yep.
The very visible, intense social media engagement. The history of suspensions, which adds real weight.
Definitely.
And then this incredibly intimate, shared professional background between the two coaches. It all adds up to a level of drama that, honestly, few international fixtures ever really achieve.
And the game itself was already huge, right?
Yeah.
Loaded with significance. You've got these special milestones happening. Siya Kolisi hitting his 100th test match.
Huge moment for him and the country.
Immense emotional weight added right there. This game isn't just about World Rugby ranking points or tournament standings. It's potentially legacy defining for key individuals, which only ramps up the psychological pressure even more.
So we come back then to our central dilemma. Given this sophisticated history, the deliberate use of a chaotic platform like X, and that carefully constructed defense about fan insight, what do we actually conclude?
Yeah.
Is gaining an edge through psychological tactics, things like weaponized communication, plausible deniability, is that just part of the game now? An unavoidable, sophisticated element of high-level modern rugby?
Well, it certainly raises a really important question for all of us watching the sport, doesn't it? When a coach is as influential and as public as Rassie ERASMUS and has this proven track record of, let's say, controversial online engagement, can he ever truly post anything casually again? Has he reached a point where every single tweet, every comment must be automatically analyzed by the opposition, treated as a potential tactical strike?
That's the crux, isn't it? The actual truth of his intent maybe becomes secondary.
Right.
Secondary to the effect it has on the opposition.
Right.
And that effect is clearly forcing France to operate from a position of deep caution, psychological distress even.
In short, whether he is genuinely playing mind games or whether he is genuinely just communicating with his fans, the end result looks pretty much the same from the outside, right? The opposition feels pressured, they feel paranoid, they're forced to react, and that psychological advantage, however you get it, that's priceless at this level.
Okay, so synthesizing the key takeaways here. We've really seen that tension play out. France's very real fear of infiltration, real enough to lock down their sessions, versus Erasmus's consistent and, let's face it, strategically useful defense. Oh, this is just for the SA supporters. Insight and depth.
It really underscores that in modern elite sport, especially rugby, reputation and how you use digital engagement, they're now just as potent a weapon as having a massive forward pack or a brilliant backline.
The battle for the mental edge. It starts long before the actual kickoff.
Weeks before, sometimes.
So we genuinely want to hear what you think about all this. Do you believe Erasmus is playing calculated mind games here? Intentionally leveraging his reputation for that psychological gain? Or is he genuinely just providing that depth and insight for the millions of Springbok supporters who, as he says, are truly into it and understand it? Let us know. Share your thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating debate. Defines a lot about modern coaching, I think.
And a final call to action. Subscribe to Rugby Obsession so you don't miss our next deep dive. We'll definitely be unpacking the results of this huge clash and seeing whose psychological approach seemed to win out on the day.
Can't wait for that one.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we will look forward to you listening to our next episode.